according to Ian Rapoport, Matthew Stafford is going to be back with the Rams in 2025. He is expected to return. What does it look like long term? I'm going to get into my thoughts on everything. Before I do, be sure to like, subscribe, and comment. Be sure to follow me on all social media at JKBogan, including Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, and Kick. And in addition to that, just want to let you guys know that today's sponsor is BetUS. You can get 150% bonus match on your first deposit and 125% on your following two deposits using the promo code YouTube150. So if you are looking for a sports book, whether you're in the NBA, the NHL, the MLB's right around the corner, you want to bet on the fights, or you want to bet on the big game, check out BetUS. Be sure to bet responsibly. All right, guys. So Matthew Stafford is expected to return for the Rams in 2025. Now, look, I never bought into this idea that he was going to retire. He's got way too much left in the tank, and this is a competitor, man. I know he's got daughters. I know he has a wife, and he wants to be with them, and I get that. But he also loves football, and he loves competing. And when you heard him, in the Locked In or that Rams web show that they did with Stafford, you could just tell Matthew Stafford has unfinished business. Some guys that look at one Super Bowl, I'm good. Matthew Stafford does not ever appear to be one of those guys. You have to understand something. He went through a lot of pain, agony, and disappointment in Detroit. And now that he has a platform in Los Angeles, now that he has a consistent team and a coach that is, consistently there and has his back, and a team that's not afraid to make moves and make the team better, and a team that has played in 7 playoff games since he's arrived and have won 5 of them, I don't think Stafford is in a hurry to walk out the door. Now, what Rapoport did say is that there is going to have to be some rework to his deal, and that makes total sense, right? Whether that is, I don't know, guaranteed money, whatever that looks like. I don't know if it's going to be a year-to-year thing. I don't know if they're going to do a 2-year deal, 3-year deal. I don't know. What I do know is that Stafford is coming back to the Rams, because Rapoport would not have said he's expected to come back if it was even a doubt. They would have said, yeah, there's a potential. See, there are code words in media, especially sports media. Expected is almost definite. It's like 99.1%. 50-50 is yes or no. It might happen, it might not. When you hear the terms likely is, yeah, okay, it will probably happen, but it's like a 70% chance, right? Unlikely is 30% chance. Not happening is simply not happening, 0% chance. So there are different, code words, keywords. When you see expected, that is almost guaranteed. Something crazy has to happen. Something like, I don't know if you guys follow the NBA. I don't anymore, really. But back in the day, with whatever the hell DeAndre Jordan had, and he was expected to sign with the Mavericks, and it sounded like it was a done deal, and the whole weird thing with the Clippers and Mark Cuban, still the weirdest thing today that I've ever heard in free agency. But he was expected to sign with the Mavericks, and then that didn't happen, and he ended up back with the Clippers. That was a miracle. Those things don't happen typically. When you see a guy is expected to sign, it means he pretty much has already agreed that he's going to sign. When you see a guy is expected to return, it's pretty much a guarantee. So are the Rams going to potentially balk at this and maybe trade him? I don't think so. I do think they're going to sign Stafford. I think they're going to pay him, and I think Stafford will be back for 2025. And to be honest with you, just based on, what I was listening, what I was hearing from Rapoport, is that it doesn't sound like he's doing a last hurrah either. If he comes back, and I'm saying if, he's pretty much going to come back at this point, but assuming he comes back for 2025, which is the report expected, now you would, do you pivot towards, okay, he's going to be 37, 30, whatever. Do you start pivoting towards, well, he might do this, he might do that. This is the last hurrah, like a Derek Jeter type deal. I don't think so. I really don't. I think there's a chance he plays for another 2 to 3 years. And I mean, he keeps himself in such great shape that he can withstand all these injuries and still play. He played every single game this year, folks, and he definitely played when he was banged up enough where some other guys may have sat out. So say what you will about Matthew Stafford, but he just played 18 games. Now, there's the pessimist in me coming out right now, in that you have to hope that he ends up playing close to that many games, and that's the frustrating part about not taking care of business this year, because while they dealt with a lot of injuries, to have your starting quarterback play every single game that you asked him to, of course, not including Week 18, which they benched him because they didn't, they sat him, they rested him, whatever. It's just a rarity, these days. So if Stafford returns, this is the real decision I think the Rams have to make, based on this year, next year, whatever. 2025 NFL draft is right around the corner. And by right around the corner, it's not really. It's about 3 months away. It's basically 3 months away. So it's not right around the corner. There's still time. And I'm going to get into the draft stuff because people keep asking me, hey, when are we going to get draft videos? It's coming. I really put an emphasis on free agency and the trades and all that because those come first. But then I get into the draft and we'll have plenty of draft content, so don't worry about that. But here's the deal, okay? The thing with Stafford is it creates an interesting proposition for the Rams. Stafford's back, and that means you have your quarterback solidified. You got a bunch of guys under contract that, their contract will expire at some point. Kyron Williams, Quentin Lake, guys like that. But you also have the beef of your organization, beef of your roster. You have guys like Kobe Turner, Jared Verse, Byron Young, Braden Fisk. These guys are, not in a contract year. They're 2 years away or 3 years away or whatever. So you have quite a few of those guys. But the decisions to make: is this a all-in team? Do you feel good about the nucleus? Do you feel like this is, let's just go all in, like Stafford's running out of time? Do you look at it as Stafford's running out of time? Do you run your just team the normal way? Do you put an emphasis on going after veterans? Like, would you bring back, Cooper Kupp, or do you try to get younger for not only the now, but the future as well? And I think that's the thing, is the Rams are going to have to decide. They're also going to decide because they're in a little bit of a predicament similar to the Packers the year they drafted Jordan Love. Does it make sense to draft the Jordan Love, 26th overall, you draft a quarterback, or you draft a quarterback high, and in turn, maybe you're right there on the cusp of something great and you opt not to make your team around you better in 2025? Because make no mistake about it, if the Rams do draft a quarterback and they sit him behind Stafford and they get that thing going, that might make sense for the long term. But in the short term, if it costs you a Super Bowl, that's going to hurt. And to me, this team doesn't have much that they're missing. But I guess I want to ask you this. I see a lot of people talk about Jackson Dart, who is slowly but surely intriguing me. If you want a guy like Jackson Dart, I see Milroe brought up. If you want one of these guys, and say the Rams have to take him at 26 over, they just have to take him at 26 if they want them, right? You don't trade up, they just fall in your lap at 26. Would you rather take one of those guys and try to prepare for the future, or would you take a guy that could help you in the future, but can also help you win a Super Bowl now? Whether that is a Tyler Warren, whether that is a Ibuka, guys like that, would you take a pass catcher that can play right away, can be a starter next to Puka Nacua, could be your number one tight end, maybe your left tackle, maybe the right tackle of the future behind Havenstein? Would you pass up, elite linebacker prospect, whatever? Would you pass those guys up that would likely make your team better in 2025 over the guy that won't really help you so much to win a Super Bowl in 2025, but could be the reason you avoid the dark age, you avoid the fall off entirely after Stafford's, hung it up? And to me, I don't think it's an easy decision. I don't think it's as simple as, this, no, this. The Rams have a decent amount of cap space. I think that, you can't go wrong with either. I think you go with the best player available. If you feel like, if you're the Rams and say Jackson Dart is by far the best player available at 26, you're not going to just say no because you're like, oh, well, it doesn't really make us better this year. But he's clearly the best guy available. You're not going to take a much lesser talent just because he could help you win this year. Because the hope is that you have guys already in the organization that can do that. The hope is that you've already done enough in free agency to do that. You kill it in undrafted rookie free agency, and you kill it in pretty much all aspects of the draft except for the fourth round. Go back and look. I don't know if they've hit on a fourth round pick. So that to me is what needs to be talked about more. With Stafford returning, and I think we all assumed he would, but it really does become, if not now, when, to start preparing for the future at that signal caller quarterback position. I don't think it's as simple as saying you can't do this, you can't do that, because I think there's an argument to be had for both. I think there's definitely an argument to be had to bring in a guy that could not only back him up this year, so you save money on maybe paying a backup, but also he could learn from Stafford. He's there. He's bringing it all in. It's not Zach Wilson sitting behind a rookie in Bo Nix. It's a rookie sitting behind Matthew Stafford who knows how to do things and who would really help to watch him up close and personal and really kind of go through, his process. It's an interesting discussion, and it's one we're probably going to have all off season. So with that said, and by the way, I'm not against signing anybody in free agency either. Free agency comes before the NFL draft, keep in mind. So it's going to be a very interesting discussion to have. To me, I don't know if I'd be able to make that discussion because I haven't watched all the prospects yet, but I would be leaning towards getting a pass catcher, an elite pass catching prospect in the first round, getting that fifth-year option, having that flexibility, and being able to have him work now and have him work down the road as well and grow and develop with Puka Nacua. That's how I feel. But you guys let me know in the comment section how you guys feel about everything. How you feel about the offseason. Let's just say the question. You answer it right now. Jordan Love, or let's just say Jordan Love, or who's a good one? Who's a good wide receiver? Let's just say Jordan Love or Zay Flowers. How about that? Jordan Love or Zay Flowers? Who do you want? Jordan Love or Zay Flowers? Because Flowers was a first round pick. Very good receiver in his own right. I mean, we could just call it like it is. I mean, we could just say, who would you want? Like, I'm not saying Tyler Warren's Brock Bowers, but like a Dalton Kincaid, right? Somebody like that. Zay Flowers. Maybe on the level of Nico Collins, although he wasn't a first-round talent. Or Jordan Love. Let me know in the comment section below, but that is going to do it. So special thanks, as always, to our sponsor, BetUS. Again, YouTube 150 is the code. Be sure to bet responsibly, and I'll see you guys soon. Later, folks. All right, guys, just a quick update here. The Lounge, which I've told you guys about after every single video, we are now at 6 videos. We have almost 700 subscribers. So if you haven't gotten in and checked out my new side project, definitely be sure to do that. Interviewing voice actors and athletes and entrepreneurs, musicians, all the good stuff there. Be sure to check it out. The link is in the description below. In case you guys haven't noticed, I do have a Discord channel for my community on this channel. And if you want to be a part of it, it is free. The link is in the description below. You can sign up. This is basically a 24/7 Rams channel, and we are almost at 1,100 members. So if you want to be a part of it, just hit the link in the description below.